Biography of Sri Paramahansa Yogananda Guruji. Autobiography of a yogi. Everyone should read this history. This book is very famous all over the world. It is an inspiration to many. Cricketers, actors, workers, businessmen, everyone has changed their direction from this. Autobiography of a Yogi. Chapter 3. The Two-Body Saint. Father, if I promise to come home without any compulsion, will you let me go and see Kashi? My father never forbade me from my deep desire to travel. When I was a boy, he would allow me to visit many cities and places of pilgrimage. Usually, one or two friends would accompany me. We all traveled comfortably on the first-class railway passes given to us by my father. His position as a railway employee was entirely satisfactory to the wanderers in our family. My father promised to think carefully about granting my wish. The next day he called me. He gave me a railway pass, some rupee notes, and 2 letters to enable me to go from Bareilly to Kashi and back. There is a friend of mine in Kashi, Kedarnath Babu, and I have something to tell him. Unfortunately, his address has been lost. But a friend of ours, Swami Pranavanand, is in that town. I think you can give him this letter through him. That Swami and I are disciples of the same Guru. He has attained a very high spiritual status. You will benefit from his darshan. This second letter will serve to introduce you to him. Remember, from now on you cannot leave the house. My father's eyes lit up as he said. With the natural enthusiasm of my 12-year-old age, however, time never diminished my joy in seeing new sights and new faces. I set out. As soon as I reached Kashi, I went to the Swami's residence. The front door was open. The long, spacious room on the second floor. I was led into the room. A slightly fat man, wearing only a robe, was sitting on a lotus seat on a slightly raised platform. His head and wrinkle-free face were clean and smooth. A smile of supreme joy was spreading across his lips. To remove the hesitation of intruding into an unfamiliar place, he greeted me like an old friend. Baba Anand Santosham Naina. This welcoming greeting seemed to come from the throat of a child with a full stomach. I bent down and touched his feet. Pranavanand Swamiji, who are you? He shook his head. Are you Bhagavati Babu's son? His words came out without my taking the letter from my pocket. I was surprised and gave him the letter of introduction, but it seemed unnecessary. I will find out where Kedarnath Babu is, for you. This Swami surprised me again with his divine vision. He looked at the letter once and spoke affectionately about my father. I am enjoying 2 pensions, do you know? One came from your father's recommendation. I once worked for him in the railway office. The second came from the grace of the Supreme Lord. In his service, I have completed all the tasks that I have to do as a human being in life with sincerity. I do not understand this reference at all. What kind of pension do you get from the Supreme Lord? Even if it is his money, it is in your pocket. Will you? He laughed. That is, deep peace is the reward I have received for many years of deep meditation. Now I do not crave for money. My few material needs are being met in abundance. You will soon realize the importance of the second pension. Having cut short our conversation, the Swamiji transformed into a solemn, still form. A mysterious atmosphere enveloped him. As when he first noticed something interesting. His eyes sparkled, then they dimmed. I scolded him for speaking so softly. He had never told me how he had met my father's friend. I felt as if I was sitting on thorns. Not knowing what else to do, I looked around the room, which was empty except for the 2 of us, in utter boredom. I caught sight of the chickens under the table where he was sitting. Don't worry, Chinna Babu. He will come and meet you in half an hour if you want to see him. That yogi is just trying to figure out what is in my mind. At that time, it was not a very difficult or unusual task. Again he fell into an incomprehensible silence. When my watch told me that 30 minutes had passed, the Swami got up. I think Kedarnath Babu is coming to the door, he said. I heard someone coming up the stairs. Then, an unbelievable surprise struck me. My thoughts raced in confusion. How could you have summoned my father's friend here without sending anyone to tell him? Since I arrived, this gentleman has never spoken to anyone but me. I then, without showing any proper courtesy, left the room and went down the stairs. Halfway down the stairs, I met a thin, lanky man of medium height. He seemed to be in a hurry. Kedarnath Babu, is it you? My voice was filled with excitement. Yes, you are Bhagwati Babu's son. You have been waiting here to meet me. He smiled amiably. Oh my, how did you come to Riccardi? I can't tell you how he was there, I'm lost in thought. Everything is happening strangely today. About an hour ago, some Indian saints used to call me Chota Mahase, it was a sign of respect. Just as I was finishing my bath in the Ganges, Pranavanand Swamiji came to my house. I don't know how he knew I was there at that time. Bhagavati Babu Garabbai is waiting for you at our house. Will you come with me? He said. I happily agreed. While we were walking hand in hand, the Swamiji, who was walking on 4 legs, and I, who was walking in these sturdy shoes, were walking briskly, which surprised me. How long will it take you to reach our house? Pranavanand stopped and asked me. About half an hour. I have other work now. The mystery in his gaze was beyond my comprehension. I must leave you. You can come and meet me at home. Bhagavati Babu Garabbai and I will be waiting for you there. Not like that, I said. As soon as I interrupted him, he ran away and disappeared into the crowd. I walked here as fast as I could. I was doubly surprised by his explanation. I asked him how long I had known the Swamiji. We have met a few times in the past. But I have not met him recently. I am happy to meet him again today at the bathing dock. I cannot believe my ears. Am I the only one who is losing my mind? Did you see him in a dream or did you actually see him, touch his hand, and hear his footsteps? I don't understand what you are asking. His face contorted with anger. I'm not lying to you. You mean you knew for a fact that you were waiting for me here? What is it? He minus that Pranavanand Swami minus had been waiting for about an hour. I can't move from my eyes since I came here. I told him the whole story in detail. I also told him the conversation that Swamiji and I had. His eyes widened in surprise. Are we living in this physical world or dreaming? I never imagined that I would see such a miracle in my life. I thought the Swami was just an ordinary man. Now it seems that he creates another body and does things with it. We both entered the Swami's room together. Kedarnath Babu showed him the panko bread under his table. Look, he wore these panko bread in the bathhouse, he whispered. He is wearing the Angavastra as you can see now. As I knelt down in front of him, the Swami turned to me with a questioning smile. Why should I be surprised by all this? The subtle unity of this visible world is not hidden from the eyes of true yogis. I can meet and talk to my disciples in Calcutta, far away, at this very moment. In that way, they can, by mere thought, overcome every obstacle caused by gross matter. These Swamis, informing me of their powers of telepathy and telepathy, may have been an attempt to instill spiritual excitement in my young heart. But instead of excitement, I felt a sense of awe and devotion. Since it was God's will that my search for God should continue through a certain Guru, Sri Yukteswar Garu, whom I had not yet met, I was not willing to accept Pranavanand Garu as my Guru. I looked at him skeptically, wondering whether he was the real Pranavanand Garu or his image. The scientific principles revealed by the yogis through the science of self-enlightenment. Physics, in its own way, are confirming the validity of the scientific principles revealed by the yogis through psychology. For example, the fact that humans have telepathy was confirmed by the Royal University of Proving in Rome. By spreading their eyes on me, by saying some exciting words about their Gurudevs, that Swami tried to remove the confusion that had caused me. Ukriti, of all I know, Lahiri Mahases are the greatest yogi. He is God who wears human form. When a disciple can create an additional human body by his will, I thought, what are the glories that his teacher could not do? Let me tell you how precious the help of the teachers is. I used to work in the railway office during the day. I felt it was difficult to do the work of the clerk and I wanted to use it for God all my time. The magnificent spiritual sensations illuminated my mind. But there was always a small curtain between me and that infinite. Even though I practiced with goal purity beyond man, it seemed that I did not have the opportunity to unite in the Supreme Soul in an irreversible way. One evening Lahiri, I went to see the Mahases and asked for his divine help. In the early hours of the night, I kept praying to him. Gurudeva, the spiritual anguish in me is so intense that I can't bear this life if I can't meet that Supreme Being face to face. Dr. Gist Caligaris, a phlegmatic psychologist, a professor of neuropsychology, pressed some of the certain parts of a person's body with his hand. Then the person described the people and things beyond the wall with subtle details. If there is a sensation in some places where the skin is determined, that person will feel supernatural feelings and he will be able to see things that cannot be seen in any other way. Calligreen told the professors there. The man pressed his hand for 15 minutes to the right side of his breast to make him see the objects on the wall. Dr. Caligaris said, "What can I do? You must meditate more deeply. Guru Rupa Devadeva, I beg you. I can see you in your physical form, but bless me so that I can see you in your infinite cosmic form." Lahiri Mahase extended his hand with a blessing gesture. "Now go and meditate. I have requested Brahma about you." Then I felt an indescribable excitement. I returned home. That night, I achieved my life's goal, which was to be meditated on in meditation. Now I am enjoying my spiritual sustenance continuously. Since that day, never again has the blissful Creator, no word of Mayavarana been hidden from me. Pranavanand's face was shining with divine radiance. Otherworldly peace entered my heart, my fear fled. Pranavanand told me another secret. A few months later, I went to Lahiri Mahase again. I tried to thank him for his infinite blessings. Then I mentioned another matter to him. "Gurudev, I cannot work in your office anymore. Please release me from this prison. Lord Brahma is keeping me in a constant state of intoxication. Apply for pension from your company. I will not tell you the reason for applying for pension so early in my working life. Whatever you feel like." The next day I applied. The doctor asked me the reason for requesting a pension, saying that I would be retiring from the job before completing my service. God in the form of the Creator, derived from the root, bru, which is used in Sanskrit, meaning, to expand. While working, I have a tingling sensation in my back that makes me feel dizzy. It spreads throughout my body and makes me unable to perform my duties. Then, without further ado, the doctor strongly recommended that I be granted a pension. It came soon. I know, the divine will of Lahiri Mahase worked well through the doctor and through your father and the railway authorities. So they, in obedience to the spiritual injunction of the great Guru, liberated me and granted me a free life so that I could enjoy uninterrupted association with that loving God. After revealing this extraordinary fact, Pranavanand Swami remained silent for a long time, as was his usual custom. When I respectfully touched his feet while taking leave, he blessed me thus. "Your life will be spent on the path of yogic practice, abandoning material pleasures. I will see you again with your father." After a few years, both these prophecies came true. In deep meditation, the experience of Brahman is first felt on the back of the neck, then a flood of bliss overwhelms us in the brain, but the yogi learns to control its manifestations so that they do not appear outwardly. In fact, when we met, Pranavanand was already a guru who was fully enlightened. But many years before that, the last days of his professional life had passed. By then he had passed into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, see the footnotes on pages 301 and 502. When he was in that state of perfect, unshakable consciousness, the yogi finds no difficulty in performing any of his worldly duties. After his retirement, Pranavanand wrote the Pranavagita. This commentary, available in Bengali and Hindi, is written with great scholarly inspiration on the Bhagavad Gita. The power to appear in more than one body is a siddhi, yoga power. Patanjali has spoken about this in the Yoga Sutras, cp. 288a Janana. The phenomenon of one person being in two places has been observed for many ages and in the lives of many saints. As darkness fell, Kedarnath Babu came walking beside me. I handed him the letter my father had given me. He read it by the street lamp. "Your father is advising me to join the Calcutta office of their railway company. How delightful it would be to wait for at least one of the pensions that Pranavanand Swami enjoys. But that is impossible. I cannot leave Kashi. I have no two bodies left." Like and comment, subscribe for more videos.